But it was interesting there because Bohemians today called for the League of Ireland clubs to work together and stand up to agents to prevent the loss of star talent to the UK for tiny transfer fees. I just want to read this out, Nathan. So since the end of, this is in The Independent, since the end of last season, Sligo Rovers lost key players like Johnny Kenny, John Mahon, both gone to Scottish clubs for release clauses of 150,000. Crystal Palace paid Drogheda 50,000 for Killian Phillips, while out of contract players like, as we said, James Brown, Georgie Kelly, Dan Cleary moved to the UK for free, and Bowes got compensation but no transfer fee for Ross Tierney with his move to Motherwell. An English Premier League side paying a five-figure sum for a player here is a concern to clubs. You look at this, I think it's Daniel Lambert who was talking about, and he's looking for collective action, and he's looking for, the agent side of thing where they're putting in these fees. I'm going to ask you the question. First of all, it's a worry for the league, but is this not just because the league clubs are not willing to give out long-term contracts, and then obviously they're willing to hand out these ridiculous, minimum release clause, which really there should be no release clause at all for League of Ireland players. It's already minimum as it is, as we're discussing. So one release clause should be a no-no nearly. I don't think they should let agents have release clauses in there unless they're ridiculous. You look at some of the stuff that Aubameyang went to Arsenal and put a billion on his release clause. Now who's going to pay that? No one. But throw it in there. Why not? So why don't the club stick? Yeah, we'll stick a release clause. It'll be $1 million and happy days. And if you want to buy him for that, that's great. But we haven't run a 3-year thing. Is the biggest problem that they're not giving out these long-term contracts?
Yeah, I do, and I think it's a lot of clubs that find themselves in a catch-22. I also seen an interview up on RTE. I don't think it was with RTE, but RTE had an article up about an interview with Stephen Bradley, and he was going into that sentiment as well, saying that it's these part-time contracts or 40-week contracts that are that a detriment to these transfers. We can't be putting lads, especially young lads coming out of academies, on short-term part-time deals and expecting to be getting almost $1 million for them, or even anywhere close to that for them, even whatever it may be. So I think it really is. But then you also have to look at the side where a lot of clubs in the league, especially as you further go down, they're just not in a position to be able to afford to be dishing out these long-term contracts. We have a poor prize money system in the league, insurance costs, travel expenses, and even up now we're in a situation where a lot of clubs operate in men's football, women's football, underage football under the same banner, and pretty much out of the same pot as well. So that's going to have to be difficult here. When we think we say every week here, don't we, mate, that it's all about improving of government funding, because at the minute being able to dish out these long-term contracts just isn't a reality in the league. But it's the logical conclusion of how you get rid of these small marginal fees for top talents going abroad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think clubs need to start organising themselves if they believe in the players that they have, and they believe that this player is going to be with them for the next 3 years because there's real quality there. I think they need to give them those contracts. Whether it's a 3-year contract that is, it might be a low contract that they're giving them. It may not be the greatest contract in the world. Try and get them under the belt, and maybe even that there's a ladder in the wages or whatever it is to keep them there, each year that they step up. But yeah, it's definitely that's the only way they're going to keep the players, and the only way they're going to get a decent fee for them. So they can't really go. I'm not going to call it whinging, because it's a little bit of whinging. It's just the way it is, because League of Ireland clubs at the moment, they're not compensating. Anyhow, the majority of them are not compensating schoolboy clubs for getting their players. So it's a little bit of whinging there when they're not getting compensation themselves from the Premier League. So sometimes it bites you in the arse.